world is on fire.
Everything burns.
Everything burns.
Y'all don't understand. I mean, by Friday, and at the very least where we're at, it's supposed to defuse. It's supposed to defuse. I turned on the weather reports.
No, but here's the thing, if y'all don't know, Canada's on fire, and it's basically inconveniencing everyone else here on the East Coast. And, how dare you, Canada? How dare you? But, I don't know about it dissipating, or at least, maybe slowing down on Friday, because California had a couple forest fires years back, and that shit burned for weeks.
Can I keep it a buck? Can I keep it a buck with you? It feels very 2 weeks to stop the spread. To me, that's how it fucking feels like. I'm serious. That's how it fucking feels like to me. I've legit felt actual PTSD from not having a job and not being able to leave my fucking house.
And now the world is on fire.
Alright. Welcome to the Double D experience. Sometimes clean, sometimes dirty, but always burning. If y'all don't know what's happening right now,
I literally said it before. Canada's on fire.
Well, yeah, but all you said was Canada's on fire. That's that's not very specific.
People will know what we're talking about.
You mean Canada's on fire? The Canucks are going all the way this season. Yeah, Canada's on fire.
Oh, guys, literally.
Yeah.
On fire.
Yes. From Vancouver spread all the way to the east, and as a result...
I feel bad for joking about it, but it's just...
Well, what else can you do?
I know.
What else?
Because I don't even live up there. My girlfriend has a friend who does live up there, and she's actually low-key scared that they're gonna have to evacuate.
Be displaced.
Yeah, they just gotta go and leave.
I mean, they might. They might. That's scary.
I don't think it's. I mean, I'm no fucking
Y'all don't understand. It looks like Breaking Bad outside.
It looks like the Mist.
Fucking meme.
It looks like the Mist.
I'm not gonna lie. Outside now, where we're at, it's still, obviously it's not 100% yet, but it's a lot better than it was before, believe it or not. Actually, at the very least, is how it looks. I had to take my mom to the doctor today at a walk-in because she's been a little under the weather, right? We had to leave in fucking the peak. Literally peak. To the point where it was fucking actually I'll throw up photos. It was actually orange outside. Straight up. It looked, I was holding off making the jokes because everybody's making the fucking Breaking Bad jokes. Because it's, pretty obvious, but it's just existentially fucked up because everyone knows New Mexico does not actually look like that. But now it does.
We have real-life filters now, guys. That's the world we live in.
It was an actual Instagram filter outside, and not even a good one that makes you look hotter. One that makes you look literally hotter. Not metaphorically. It was fucking crazy, man. Not to mention when you go outside. We're not kidding. Up here in Tri-State, it's pretty bad. You go outside, it smells like burning. It smells like smoke.
Yeah.
It literally smells like smoke everywhere you go outside.
Air quality is also
orange.
Air quality is also terrible, too. They even said, to not go outside. Flat out. Or at least, if you have to, just... I don't even know if they said put on a mask, but I'm I don't think that's really gonna help. Just stay the fuck inside, honestly.
Remember what some of those health organizations said a couple of months ago that masks didn't really do that much or whatever during COVID or some shit.
But yet they were pushing that agenda there was no tomorrow.
Well, they didn't know what the fuck else to do. I mean, here's the thing: is that
enough,
they knew they knew dick about that virus.
They knew fuck all. I knew they knew fuck all, but it's just at the same time, we're still gonna give you shit for it, and you deserve the shit thrown at you about it because you clearly had no idea what the fuck was going on, and then you decided, okay, we have to tell them something, which is basically what it was. We have to tell them something. We can't just be radio silent to the entire world, or at least to the United States, about this shit. So it's they just put up on the whiteboard, okay, we have put on masks, masks don't work, or masks don't matter. This is what their statement was going to be. This is what they basically chose. Or third option, we just basically stay silent. And they all voted. Just tell them to put on the mask. We have to tell them something. We have to pretend like we're doing something.
I mean, did they think if they didn't, it was just gonna, devolve into be yeah, there's absolutely nothing we can do, and then people were gonna actually start treating it like it was the apocalypse, and just start fucking looting and shit?
Who knows? I mean, people are already looting.
It very well could have been a crowd control thing, honestly. It very well could have been, a crowd control thing on top of that. That wouldn't require... Dude, fuck you, Norton. God damn it, get off my screen. You're
Get
right.
rid of Norton, man.
I
It's useless.
know. It's so invasive. I know. But,
It's gonna find out your porn and be like, virus! You have been tainted by Russia.
yeah, that's it.
Russia's gonna be after Nintoonists. Great.
Just in case
files.
you were my great files, yeah,
Your great files, your podcast files. We could use this to weaponize. We will send propaganda message to Ukraine.
I was at a networking event recently, and a lot of people seem to think they can use my podcast for those kinds of things, not knowing it's just a stupid, shitty comedy podcast that I don't even really see as a business. But who knows? I mean, I do and I don't. But in case you're wondering why I made the thumbnail the way it was today, all orange tinted and everything, like across the entire thing, that's because it's literally looks like that in Tri-State right now, and at certain parts across like the Eastern Seaboard as well. I have never experienced anything like this in my life.
Same.
Like, literally never. Like, it was shocking, because, like, I already knew the Canada wildfires were happening. I first noticed it at the gym, right? Because, like, there's a huge open window at my gym. Not open isn't, like, literally open, but, like, you know, just you could see the street and everything. Big window. Yeah. And I could already see, like, you know, it's hazy outside. I knew what that was. I already knew it was the wildfires. Then I left around, like, 5 o'clock, and I smelled it. It smelled like it smelled like Game of Thrones outside. I smelled the dragons. I'm not even capping. It smelled like smoke, and I was like, oh my god. Not to mention, like, then I go home, and, like, I see that my mom is sick, because my mom texted me that she was sick. We were actually supposed to record the podcast yesterday with a guest. We're postponing that for next week, because I literally was just too overstimulated. I couldn't talk about the stuff we wanted to talk about. It's not even that I was anxious, necessarily. Like, I've grown to be a little past that. But I was unsettled by outside, and I was in the peak of today outside, like literally in the orange fucking mist, taking my mom to the doctor. It was unsettling. Younger me would have been like really scared and would have like gotten way more anxious because of that. Now I'm just like, yeah, this is unsettling, because I'll tell you, Dennis, when I was a kid, I was like debilitatingly afraid of thunderstorms. Actually, when I was a young kid, I had to run to my mom. They would make me cry. They was just too loud. It just disturbed me. I always wanted to I asked them, I'm like, can we go somewhere where, like, it's not thundering? Please. Like, I was like, it just bothered me so much. Well into, like, my even, like, preteen age. Like, I was 12 and I was still terrified of thunderstorms. Like, straight up. To the point where my mom actually eventually sent me to therapy for it. And I don't, like many things in life, I don't remember everything she told me, but I remembered how she made me feel. That's a lot of experiences in life, and I don't know what happened after that, but, like, you know, it just really started to slowly go away, and, like, now I kind of think thunderstorms are kind of cool when, in the occasions that we get to see them. Still don't like them, you know, like, it's a little bit of the Asperger teen in me, like the autism speak, where I don't like big loud noise. It scare me. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was at a fucking Wawa at like 3 a.m. with like a bunch of my friends after like a Smash tournament once, and the fire alarm went off in the fucking Wawa like at 3 a.m. And I seem to be the only person that shit scared. Like, I just did that quick like duck because like I was right next to the fucking fire alarm. I'm also taller, so my ears are closer to it. All right, so I don't know, man. So this experience right now is kind of like the same thing for me, where I feel it on like an existential scale. It literally feels like outside is broken.
Oh, the world is ending.
We need a patch. Like we're waiting. Like you look outside. There's like a download patch, like a download screen. It's like,
you like email God, like God, when update, when patch.
Yo, because this fucking build is trash, bro. Like, I'm just waiting for the patch, man.
Clearly, there was no QA when it came to rolling out this patch. Just none whatsoever. Like, no one checked. No one even bothered to look at it. No one even bothered to test it. It just rolled it out. Just, But I was going back to at least your thing with thunderstorms. Like, even when I was young, like, I always loved the rain. Like, I absolutely like just loved rain. And then even when it came to thunderstorms, like I you know, when I was young, like, and obviously when I was a real youngin', like, obviously, you know, who doesn't get scared like off of those? I mean, maybe if you were fearless back then, like, I never got scared for thunderstorms. It's like, okay, if you're one of those, like, you know, hooray. But like but at least for me, like, when I was young, it took me pretty quick to like kind of get over like the fear, and then after that, like, I actually really liked them even at a young age. And now as I'm older, when when I do see thunderstorms that, like outside, I do get scared for one reason: my electronics. I don't want that shit to to short circuit and crap. So I get into panic mode. Not like being a little bit dramatic here. I get into panic mode when the thunderstorm is like really bad outside. That like my shit actually like my electronics start to blink. So like I just turn off everything. I like unplug like just fucking everything when like
that thing they told us when we were young, like if you don't have your electronics plugged into a surge protector and like something happens in your house, that shit's just gonna fry. And it's like, bro, my baby.
Yeah, exactly. And
like, holy shit.
I'm pretty sure an electrician out there, if there is one among like the 12 of you, like, and you could actually like provide some details.
Shaking their head right now. Like, yeah,
like if I am just talking full of shit right now, like at least I know like UPSs are like, people actually do use them, especially like in data centers, because like, obviously they don't want their fucking data to be like, fucked, and like everyone else is affected by it. So like therefore like obviously they use one. But I mean I was like thinking at least for just kind of like normal people who have like their computers and stuff, like is it really that necessary? If one of you is an electrician, please let me know. Like I would love to know it. But now it's like going back to the fire now, like, and for the East Coast, like we really don't experience like virtually half of the natural disasters that the rest of the country like experiences. Like we don't get tornadoes because we're just not flat enough for it. We got a hurricane, because everyone remembers Sandy if you lived around here, and if you still live around here. We don't get earthquakes.
Like 15 years though, if that we get true. Like a bad hurricane.
Yeah. Earthquakes, we don't get them. We just don't. We're not near no tectonic plates, so we good on that. Forest fires, like I don't know. Some dumb kid could probably like fucking light a match in a forest somewhere, and it probably would start it. That shit's man-made though, so that's different.
Not always. Not always. Forest fires are actually a natural phenomenon, and they've been a little more common up here just in recent years. I think probably because of like climate change or whatever, but still.
Exactly,
like,
that's what I was going to go on next.
We don't even fucking get those very often either. Like Tri-State is as far as natural disasters go, it's a pretty broken region to live in. I don't know if that's part of why. That's low-key might be part of... I mean, there's several reasons, but like, I think it's actually one of the low-key reasons why it's so expensive to live here. Yeah. It's because like shit never happens here. Like there's never any massive...
For the most part.
Only flooding on like the coast, but that's it.
Yeah, that's only if you live like in Edgewater, Hoboken, like them areas. Like when Sandy hit, like it hit them hard. That was actually like... I wanted to stop myself because it was pretty funny. It's actually not funny, but it was like really bad to see that like there was people in Hoboken literally driving through. There was even that one flood that happened like, or that like really crazy storm that happened like a year or two back. And like I saw like people literally driving through it, like flooded streets with their cars, their Civics or Accords, whatever, just literally driving through it because they just had to be somewhere. And even just people's basements flooding as well. Like the sandbags almost didn't do anything to stop it, like whatsoever. And obviously, and what I'm about to say next is that like the main appeal for a lot of people who live like around those areas, this is for people who live in Jersey or any of you transplants that are moving from New York. Like the main appeal is that, oh, you got the New York skyline, it's a great view, it's an okay view, and like it's like the main appeal, like, oh yeah, you live near the river, it's like it's got its own aesthetic, and it's the reason why your fucking place is also like $1,500 more just off of living near the shitty river. And
wish it was only $1,500 more.
Yeah, and like some states, like they legit tell you to get flood insurance because we get hurricanes here, i.e. Florida. Like, you just cannot not have it. That's the thing. Yeah. And for us, like, we could give a fuck, like, for at least a lot of that shit. And I guess where I'm going with it is that, like, for us, yeah, as David said, maybe New York not so much, because if it does flood, anyone who is living around there, y'all are kind of fucked unless, like, you live in that one part of New York that's slightly elevated above the others. But, like, for the most part, at least around the tri-state, like, yeah, we don't really get shit, like, as far as, like, natural disasters go. Like, I do think, though, if a forest fire ever did here, because there are some regions in New Jersey where it is just heavily forested. Like,
there was
it's just
one
straight
at
up
the
forest.
Teaneck Creek Conservancy. There was a forest fire there a couple of months ago. This was like a month ago.
Let me look it up, but...
A month, 2 months ago, yeah, there was a fire there.
If we did have a forest fire that just straight up got out of control, I honestly think we'd be kind of or at the very least that entire like area, at least in central Jersey, which is where most of the forests are, we'd be kind of fucked down there, like a little bit.
I mean, there already was one in Jackson recently. I mean, it's pretty much contained at this point. But last night there was another one because of that.
Oh right, I do remember this.
What happened is that like it's already mad dry because of the Canadian wildfires, and there were thunderstorms in the forecast for like South Jersey. And so when air very dry in forest and thunderstorm happen, that's when the man-made ones come in and lightning cracks a tree, and then that's how that shit just kind of goes. Like when people think forest fires, they always think climate change or they think a man-made one.
Yeah.
But even before both of those things were issues, like it actually is a natural phenomenon. As like fucked up as it seems, I'm dead ass. I'm serious.
No, but I have a question though, because as far as man-made,
did I just say dead ass?
Yeah.
I'm too white to say that. Oh wow.
But I have a
sorry.
question. I have a question, deadass.
You're not white, you can say it.
Okay, fine, fair enough. But as far as man-made
deadass.
As far as man-made forest fires, right?
Yeah.
If we somehow caught the guy who did make the fire,
like the straight up everything burns guy.
Yeah, like, or I mean, sometimes this shit's just accidental. Like, oh, they left their campfire and then, like, you know, just they left without
like
turning it off.
More than a smoke on the water.
Or, you know,
like
it's like, yeah, it could be anything, right?
Oops.
Dude, can we crucify the guy? Dude, are we allowed? Like, we should be, right?
Yeah.
We should put that fucker on a cross and, like, literally crucify him.
It's illegal. So, yeah, he would be crucified by the system if that's what you're asking.
Not through the system. I mean, like, some tribal shit. Like, every person, like, he displaced because of his stupid ass, like, just dumbassery. Every single person is allowed to rip that dude apart. Only because, look, parks and campsites, and I'm no expert, but we've all seen it. They all say, clean up after yourself before you leave. Like, every single one of these places all tell you the same damn thing. And because of shit like this, because they know, okay, if you leave a fucking fire open, or if you just leave it burning while after you leave, obviously the whole fucking forest is at risk because, wood everywhere. And, like... And all I'm saying is that, like, look, you knowing that, right? Yep. Everyone should be extra careful, is what I'm saying, right? But if you're gonna be that jackass that is fucking negligent, and then if your dumbassery leads to, like, an entire forest being burned, and then even, let's say, take for another real-life example, how bad the California ones, like, were, and if I remember correctly, those were man-made. I'm surprised that dude wasn't in the news. Like, people weren't hunting this fucker down and, like, trying to do some, like, vigilante justice on this dude. Because if it was man-made. I heard it was man-made. In my head, that's the kind of narrative that I'm going with. Because it's like, honestly, like, any person who is that just, like, grossly negligent about their fellow man and just, like, you know, says, it's no big deal, leave fire open. 5 hours later, turns into, like, a fucking entire statewide, like, fire. I think that guy deserves some, like, legit, like, tribalistic type of justice on him. Because it's like, how are you gonna be this fucking ignorant of your actions, really? Like, this dumbass does not deserve to live, is what I'm saying.
Man arrested in connection with 20,000-acre Arizona fire admitted to burning toilet paper. Matthew Reiser told deputies that he had burned his toilet paper at noon on Saturday and didn't think it, quote, didn't think it would smolder all night.
Yeah, this guy should have been pulled apart by his entire community.
I just want to know how long he got put in prison. Well, this is an old article. It said Reiser had an initial court appearance on Monday. No, I need to... God. There's that one.
I'm not about tribalism too much, But this is one of those things where it's like, if it happened...
Man arrested for allegedly sparking wildfire while trying to burn a spider? This one was in Utah.
Look, all
deputies
I'm
found
saying
a jar of weed in his belongings, but he didn't appear to be high, said Utah County Sheriff Sergeant Spencer Cannon. There's no evidence to suggest he initially started the blaze, but said Cannon, but he called it a reckless and puzzling decision. He was trying to burn a spider with his lighter. He lit that shit up in a fucking forest. Why didn't you just fucking step on it?
If anyone remembers that one scene in Game of Thrones when Joffrey and everyone is like heading back to the Red Keep and the people are straight up so angry at the fucking royal family that they literally start rioting and start literally killing their entourage. There's a scene when this is one like religious dude. It's like their pope, I guess. He gets caught by the crowd and they literally tear his limbs off. And he like raises his fucking limb like into the air, like in celebration. This is one of those few times where it's like these fuckers who start these fires, like that's the punishment that they fucking deserve, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And again, before I was saying, like, I'm not one for tribalism, but there is some dumb shit that people do that like this is the type of punishment you deserve because if you're so fucking stupid. I think even jail is like not enough for these idiots because it's like, look, you're not gonna learn. You're not gonna learn. Like, it's not gonna teach you anything. Like, you should just deserve to be thrown into that fire you created.
What is oh yeah, here it is. It already auto-filled it for me. I just remembered when you were talking about there was once a forest fire that was literally started by one of those fucking dumbass gender reveal parties.
Yeah.
I couldn't even type it in. I was trying to think of the word gender reveal. Google autofilled it for me because it knew immediately what story I was fucking searching up.
that shit was on the news for months.
Yep, by a pyrotechnic device at a gender reveal party. It quickly spread to San Gorgonio wilderness area of the San Bernardino National Forest. It was called the El Dorado Fire. Holy fucking shit. I remember this story. Yeah. I remember this story because Critical covered it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not to say that I get all my news from Critical, but I mean,
but I know it. You know it about it though, and it's it's just like that's what I mean.
23,000 acres, and it destroyed 5 homes, 15 other buildings, and killed a firefighter.
Let me see.
All because of those stupid fucking dumbass gender. Like, no one cares. Yeah. Holy fuck, no one cares. First of all, your kid might be. First of all, your kid. Okay. Hey, what? Your kid might be trans. What if later on down the line they're like, "I'm not a boy," and then all of a sudden that whole gender reveal party was literally for nothing? How would you feel then, fuckhead?
Can I also tell you how many 23,000 acres is in square miles?
Please do.
Basically 36 miles.
Ugh.
That is 36 miles of fucking trees that just burned because of your idiocy.
And that one burned for almost a month.
This displaced people from what I remember.
Yeah, dude, a firefighter died because of it.
Yeah, but like, yes, including that, but also just like, you literally forced people to leave their fucking homes. And probably like hundreds of homes were probably destroyed too because of your fucking idiocy.
Can I tell you,
oh my God.
Can I tell you I once almost had to abandon my vehicle because of a flood?
Oh shit. When was this?
This was years ago. This was many years ago. This was on like 2018, 2017.
Is it the same like car you're driving now?
Yep.
Damn, this shit's been through everything.
Dude, do not doubt Accords, ladies and gentlemen. You'll see that thing.
Don't doubt Hondas, period.
You'll see that thing, you'll think 2 things. 1, this man has nothing to be ashamed of.
Mm.
And 2, that vehicle has seen some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been driving that car since 2015. It's the only car I've ever owned.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna cry real ass tears when she craps out on me because I've been through a lot. But multiple girlfriends through that car. This story that I'm about to tell you where like I almost lost her, which was crazy. All right, so I was at a Smash tournament, right? This was when the Kingdom local was still at the that church in Lodi, and it was downpouring. Spring showers, April in the middle of April, transitioning over from winter to spring. And it was down fucking pouring, like monsoon rain, like April showers bring May flowers.
Literally,
blah, blah,
rain
blah.
is slapping your face like as you
like,
walk outside.
Like Florida rain, basically, like that sort of monsoon kind of shit. The borderline subtropical region. So when during the tournament's over, whatever, or like I leave, or I don't remember what it was, but it was still like in the middle of the day. I don't know why I left during the day. I must have been like out of the tournament early or something, or like I had shit to do going home. But I left, right? And it's beautiful, gorgeous, sunny outside, like the kind of weather that you get like after like the worst storms imaginable. You know what I mean? Like red sky at night, sailor's delight, as my mom used to tell me. Red sky in morning, sailor's warning, that kind of stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what she told me when I was scared of the thunders. Yeah. So I'm driving home, right, and I'm just driving up the street, the local streets, mind you.
Okay.
And because there's just so many road closures, so I have to take like some local streets up to places. Not even like highway. The highways were fine, I think. But local streets were closed. And I start to notice a little bit of water. Just like driggling down the street. And then as I'm driving up the street, there's a little bit more water. And as I'm driving up the street, and then there was a butt-fuck ton of water on the street. It just suddenly piles up. Because of like how hilly the area was or something like that. And I guess just low to the ground, low pressure or something like that. So I noticed some cars ahead of me are just like like just driving with it ahead to the point where it's almost like above like their tires, borderline almost. And here's the thing. I was young. I was stupid. I didn't know what I was doing. So I kept driving up that road, right? To the point where I didn't even really notice it, right? Because I'm just focused on driving or just trying to get home as soon as I can. The water was up right below my windows. And I didn't notice it. Because I guess I was just a dumb kid at the time. And the street only kept getting deeper ahead of me, I noticed. And there were just 3 dudes. There were 3 dudes, actually, who were just chilling, watching the whole thing, just standing on a hill. Not even workers or anything. There were just 3 men just standing there. Like on the hill
in this
like,
humongous rainstorm, just chilling?
No. The rain. Remember, the rainstorm was over.
Okay, so it was just flooded streets.
Yeah, like the storm was over, but it rained for so little, but so hard to the point where all the fucking streets were flooded already. So these 3 dudes were standing there, and they make eye contact with me, and like they just looked like dead at me, and they're like, "Yo, brother,
you gotta move back. Man.
Don't do it.
Yeah."
Don't do it, homie. Yo, turn around. Turn around right now. And I just literally stick my thumbs out. I'm like, I bet. And right before my car, right before, like, I'm, like, literally, if I'd gone any further, like, I would have had to straight up abandon my vehicle. It would have gone to the point where, like, my car started, like, becoming, like, a flotation device. I'm narrowly able to just barely get, like, my car in reverse. And just turn it around in the middle of a street. People behind me, by the way, as well, who see what's going on because they're like, yeah, this is fucked. And I'm just barely pushing my car as hard as I can with the gas, able to get enough friction with my tires to just get back on the street, heading the wrong way up a street, but I had to in order to survive at that point. The thing is, like, the fucking authorities just never got to it. They just never closed off the street yet, so none of us knew. We just kept running up that way. And so... Quite frankly, if it weren't for those 3 men who were just standing there up there, like, directing me outwise, I don't know if I would have been stupid enough to keep going or stupid and young enough to just keep going at the time, but that, I literally
they were
almost
your
had
guardian
to...
angels.
They
honestly.
were, straight up, because then I would have had to get out of the car and then use myself as, like, a fucking oar and then
you would have had
like...
to swim. You would have had to swim back the other way and just see your car sink down.
Yeah, straight up like a dream. Like an actual dreamscape. I would have had to, like, swim to get out of my car or, like, push my car door as hard open as I can to get it open. If I kept going, it would have been above window length. And that's
you
what
probably
would
have just had to roll down the window then.
Yeah, I would have had to roll down the windows, but at that point, water would have started rolling into my car. And that, and and I'd never been in a situation like they don't prep you for that at the fucking driving school, man. No, they don't do that because they're like, there's no way you're gonna be stupid enough to drive into a fucking like a local swimming pool. There's no way you're gonna drive into the local swimming pool, son. But I did, and yeah, no. At that point, like I was actually like getting ready for a second. I was talking to myself in my car. I'm like, do I have to like jump out my window and like climb onto my roof? Like, do I actually unironically have to do this right now? Holy shit. It was crazy. And yeah, fortunately I didn't have to abandon my vehicle. Went home, told my parents about it. They're anxious people, so they took it the way that they did. But like, I was like, yeah, no, that shit was crazy. A little bit of a rush, I can't lie, but like it was definitely wild. So that
Jesus
was
Christ.
probably, besides Hurricane Sandy, the most crazy natural disaster that I've ever been in, I guess. If I can even call it a natural disaster at that point, but it was just that street. It was just crazy flooded.
Yeah, I think for me, I never really, I don't know, like maybe it's just because like it hasn't happened to me yet where like I'm gonna be driving out during like a freak storm, but like usually I'm kind of good with the weather where it's like, if I know like a crazy storm or some shit is gonna be coming down to us, you know, a couple days time, I usually just don't go out. I just don't. Like, I've had friends where they got caught in some crazy freak storms, and like, and you know how everyone knows like kind of how storms slow down traffic around here. Like, if there is like a big ass storm out, traffic is literally crawled to a halt because it's just everyone's just scared. And like it kind of raises their anxiety levels just a little bit when they're driving, and to me as well. Like, you know, it for me, you know, again, like I like rain. It's very calming to me. But when you're driving and there's like, let's say, hundreds of other people around you, like in their cars, like also just kind of feeling like a little like antsy because of the rain.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of get it, you know, I do.
You get it being anxiety-inducing at that point.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, God forbid. Like I've seen people sometimes like literally almost like drift into their lane, like into another person's lane because like the rain's just so bad they can't even see the dotted lines.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like again, like shit like that does happen. But like, you know, if I hear like like I said, like I've had friends that were caught in storms, and like one of them, not gonna name no names, but if you are listening to this, you know who you are. Like she literally just drove through it, and her bumper literally came off her car because the water just caught it and just yanked it off. But anyways, like what I'm getting at.
The other one?
No, it's not. It's not. I'm not gonna name him. Sorry, I can't. But you know who you are if you are listening to this. But because I remember getting your text, and I was like, we were all freaking out the day that happened. But and it's also like, you know, when you see, like, in your case, it's like, kind of like, you know, okay, he's like driving around and like they didn't block off the street. That's not your fault entirely, right? But it's like, if you are driving out in the middle of a storm, and even if the state government has even told people, stay the fuck inside at home, but you decide, oh, I'm gonna go outside anyways and drive through this straight up like hurricane mega fuck you storm, and think like, oh yeah, everything's just gonna be okay. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And
yeah,
I've had friends who have driven through hurricanes, and I'm like, why? Stay the fuck home.
Remember the Rocket Power episode where like there's a hurricane and then fucking Otto and like, what was his friend's name? Reggie, I think. No, Reggie was his dad.
Reggie was his sister, Twister.
Oh, Reggie was Twister, thank you.
Yeah. And
they like literally just leave in like the middle of the night, like, cause like to straight up for the TikTok clout, like they to film fucking skateboard stunts. Yeah. Like this will be so sick, like doing fucking like ollies and shit during a hurricane.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And he gets fucking swept out to sea and his dad has to go get him. Or some shit.
Fucking stupid, bro.
Yeah, Otto was a dipshit. Like, he was a TikToker before. He was a TikToker way before TikTok.
Absolutely. I think that show would probably be what. I mean, I don't want no show to be redone in the modern age, TBH, because like we've already gotten proof that it just can't be done. But honestly, if Rocket Power came out today, that would be basically the show. It wouldn't be that
he would be a YouTube prankster.
Yeah, exactly. And like it would just kind of be like, oh, he's like an X Games like fanatic, or like he did join the X Games, I believe. But like, you know, instead of like that big ass bulky handheld camera, they would literally just have their fucking iPhone and then just, you know, like, oh, yo, Otto, whoa, you know, it's like he did the ollie, whoa.
He would be like that dumbass kid in like in England that's like doing all those pranks that keeps getting him arrested.
Yeah, and like he would. He would also be dealing with Karens at like certain public places where like they're trying to like protect the public space from these kids and their skateboards.
Well, it's not even like, Karens. I mean, that dude was like stealing people's animals as a prank.
I'm not talking about him. I'm just saying separately, there are those. And like there would probably be an episode about like these Karens that like are just like, protecting the public space. It's like, who the fuck are you? Who are you?
I once had
You don't own this place?
Speaking of water, I once had a dream that,
The Way of Water.
No, I did not. The Way of Walter.
the Way of Walter.
I had a dream that I was like jet setting, right? Or whatever that thing is called, where like there's a boat and like you're on like that little like flotation device behind it, and like you're holding onto a rope that's attached to the boat, and you're just like the boat goes.
Is it boogie boarding?
No, it's not boogie boarding. What the fuck?
No, keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
Kayaking.
No, it's not kayaking.
No, it's not. It's not kayaking. Whatever that. Hold up. This is how I'm gonna look this up. Are you ready? Wii Sports Resorts Sports, because I know it's in Wii Sports Resort. Canoeing, archery, wakeboarding.
Wakeboarding, yeah.
Wakeboarding, yeah. The super duper rich people sport, because you need a fucking boat
Yeah.
to do it. It is a white ass people sport. My God.
It is,
yeah,
but it does look fun. I'll give it that. It does look fun though.
I had a dream that I was doing that once, right? But for whatever reason, simultaneously, while I am wakeboarding my nuts off, I have my MacBook Air in my other hand, and I am simultaneously writing my pilot
As you're like wakeboarding.
As the boat go, and then I like water splashing up everywhere. I'm trying to make sure like the water that is obviously splashing everywhere from the flotation device that I'm standing. How many times have I said fucking flotation device in this podcast today? Well, it's not a float.
Oh, it's like a board, ain't it?
A board.
You're not gonna use your feet,
a board. Yeah, that's the word we're gonna go with. So I'm on the board, right, and it's water splashing around everywhere, and I'm trying to avoid it, and eventually just oops, and it just slips out of my
pilot.
Oh, my pilot, my fucking MacBook, dude.
But I mean, that's what you were working on.
And just into the water, and you know where you have those dreams where like your technology is just not working, and you're like, no, kind of like an anxious person's dream where like they're back in school or like their teeth are falling out or whatever. I have those too, but I also have the ones where like my technology just breaks, I guess, and I'm like, no, not at any single point in and I wake up and the dream feels insanely real, by the way. I'm like, no, my computer.
Yeah. And then you wake up in a cold sweat and you're just like, I've only woken up like that once in my life.
Yeah.
And I thought at least, that's just in the movies. I literally experienced a nightmare once in my life that made me wake up like that. Shit was not fun. And I ended up, what was actually, what ended up happening?
What?
I had food poisoning.
Oh, yeah. That'll do it. When you have food poisoning and your brain just fixates on one thing super hard to the point where even closing your eyes doesn't get rid of it.
Got a cold sweat too and everything.
Oh.
It's disgusting, man. And I feel like shit too.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And your logic just goes away as well, and your brain is trying to make sense of it even while you're awake, but you can't because you're sick. Because there's no point in my life, there's no point in the dream where I'm like, hey, David, why the fuck were you bringing your laptop out with you on the open water?
Like, that's completely not even part of the equation of the fucking
Yeah, it's not
dream.
even part of the equation, but it's just something that happened in the dream. When I wake up like, no, my computer, it's like there's never a point like, wait, why would I do that?
Yeah, exactly. But you don't even question that part. It's just kind of like, no, my computer.
I had another one recently where it had to do with missing technology, and this dream was also very funny. If I could tell it. No? Yes, no?
No,
okay, just making sure. So I'm back at college or something, right? Or like I'm in a college for some reason. Networking event, job fair, maybe I'm just back in school or whatever, and I'm just going to the bathroom.
Was this dream recent?
Yeah, this one was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
So and the wakeboarding one wasn't that far along either as well. That was also not too long ago. That one was like a month, 2 months, I think.
Okay.
I do not remember my dreams very often, but when I do, I do. It's a smart people thing. So in this dream, like, I'm just at the college campus, walking around, doing my thing. I go to the bathroom, right? And I sit down to take a big old dookie duper dump.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two other people in the stalls next to me, right? I'm in the middle stall.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone goes in to take their super mega deluxe ebony Bertha Booty double donk dookie dunks. And eventually, I'm just on my phone, right? Just taking a dump, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, and on not just my stall, but on the two stalls next to me, the doors just start shaking.
Oh.
Cracking on, just like that, someone's trying to break into the stall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, occupied or whatever, and then I see the fingers go through the slit in the door.
Did it look like a human finger?
Yeah, no, it was a human finger.
Oh, okay.
To open the stall. And what was happening right here, it was these three hooligans who go around stealing people's phones while they're taking a shit.
How do you do that?
It's while they're at their most vulnerable. They were waiting outside the stalls to when me and the two gentlemen that I'm sitting in between take their shits, they wait to hear the noise or smell the smell, and then as soon as they do, because we're at our most vulnerable fucking state, where you're taking a dump, kick open the stall door, and straight up snatch my phone. And here, like, while I'm taking a dump. So I finish my dump as quickly as I can, right?
Put your pants up and all that.
I barely even put my pants up, to the point where I run in, and I don't remember if I punched or stabbed this dude, right? It was one or the other, right? Because he tried to steal my phone, so I'm punching him, right? Like, I'm like literally knocking him in the face or whatever. Mm-hmm. And because I knocked him in the face, then and only then does he take my phone from me. And because I guess I'm just naked from the pants down, I couldn't get him. Or something like that. And I remember
just slapped him with your cock.
I should have, yeah. I should have just, like, gotten aroused by the fucking adrenaline of the situation and just taken my giant Cuban half-white schlong and just whacked him across the mouth with it.
I mean, that would have emasculated him right then and there. He probably would have never done that again.
Make the man literally and metaphorically salty. But no, he got away with my phone, and I'm so bummed the whole day. I'm like, fuck, my phone. To the point where eventually I go home, and my cousins are there for some reason, and my family, but the lights are just out everywhere in the house for some reason, which, you know, just weird, nonsensical dream shit. Mm-hmm. And to the point where I go upstairs, and I'm really digging, trying to find my phone. I lay all my technology out by the bed, like Switch, Game Boys and stuff, old phones that I thought were my phones for a second, but turned out they weren't, because I have a phone that I use with like an infrared app as a remote for my CRT that I have in my room. And that's when I woke up, frantically looking for my phone, as I awakened from my slumber, and thank God that it was just a dream, and that the potty snatchers were not real.
Yo, but that sounds like it would be like a TikTok type shit.
Right? Like, maybe that's what
like, it really,
like,
it really does.
It was probably that, like, dumbass prankster who, like, breaks into people's phones in London or whatever, who probably think, yeah, do it for the TikTok, bro, for the clout. I'm gonna steal this guy's phone while he's shitting, because that constitutes as a fucking prank somehow, and just kick in the door and steal my shit. It was fucked up. I was at my most vulnerable state, sitting there, dropping a big old deuce.
It's kind of genius now that I think about it. It's like,
right?
It's like horrendously genius, but it's like, I understand the strategy, because it's like, what the fuck are they gonna do? Like, literally waddle out with their pants down to their fucking heels and be like, hey, my phone! Give me back my phone!
It was like, fucked up, dude.
Like, you already in the car, just driving off wherever the fuck you were, just gone. You're gone. Like,
I'm like waddling, chasing him across the campus, like just half naked from the waist down. People are looking like, my fucking phone, you asshole.
And then you get in trouble because of public indecency.
That's the fucked up part about it too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
I'm the
right?
one who like goes down for this. It was a fucked up dream, man.
Oof. Yeah.
So if there are any TikTokers listening to this and you want to try this right now,
you.
Fuck you. Real shit, fuck you. Like if you're that London 18-year-old, 19-year-old that keeps doing that shit, and for whatever reason, like the London cops are too fucking pussy to just put behind bars already, just don't do it.
Don't
It's
do
not
that.
funny. I promise you, no one likes you. That's why I'm not saying your
And-
name on the show to even give you that kind of attention. Like,
Don't forget, people in this country also potentially can carry guns.
that's what I was thinking to myself. Like, if that fucking dude tried that shit,
He'd be dead.
my god, if
He'd
he
be
tried
dead.
that shit in Texas,
He'd be dead.
oh man, it's over.
There was this one prank.
Not even to get racial with it, but it also does not help that he's black. They probably, like, down there, they probably would already want to fucking shoot him regardless, even if he wasn't doing anything wrong. Because
Fair. And it reminds me of this other video that I watched of where I think it was like some parking lot, and it was like these kids like literally they're using a gas can, and they're
I know, I've
dumping
seen it.
water.
I know the one you're talking
about. And this
about.
old
Yeah.
dude was like this close to fucking just capping them, and I'm like,
he walked up to them with a gun. I remember watching it. And he was completely justified in doing it, because he thought he was watching fucking arsonists in front of him.
Which... And you know, the funny thing was, is the kid had the audacity to say, oh, it's just a prank, go fuck yourself. It's like, what?
They always do that shit, bro.
But you know what's so odd? I'd like to think, like, you know, there's like a council of pranksters that, like, they have a code. It's like, look, we
Like that
know
fucking
we're
South
being...
Park?
yeah,
like that
but it's just
season of
like...
South Park?
It's like, we know we're being a nuisance to society. So if we get insulted, we don't throw insults back. Because we know what we're doing. Like, I know most of them don't obviously follow a code because it's like, you know, this is just all clout for them in the end anyways. But it's like, for them, you know, I'd like to think at least a lot of them are just like, look, like, we know what we're doing, right? At the very least, we know what we're doing. And if we get shit, we'll get shit. It's just the way it is, right? But then there are these, like, assholes who just, like, love to just, like, throw it right back at their victims and say, like, it's a what the fuck, bro? It's just a prank, bro. It's a prank, bro. And it's like, and just completely deflect any blame off of themselves. It's like...
And it defiles the good name of pranksters as well, because
Exactly.
none of that shit even constitutes as a prank.
That's
Just
being
because
an
you
asshole.
meant to do it as a joke, that doesn't automatically mean it's a prank. Practical jokes are funny. Like, I'm fucking with Dennis and, like, I pretend I can't hear him.
Yeah.
Like, on, like, the fucking... Which I've done before, by the way. I actually did that to you once many, like, I think a year ago was, like, an episode or something. That's funny.
Oh, I don't remember.
You know,
but
like, it's just
also,
little pranks you
tame,
get
too.
And it's
tame.
also your friend. It's
Yeah.
different. You cannot walk up to random strangers, do that shit, and then for whatever reason think they are in the wrong. You're not the disruptor, the fucking trendsetter that you think you are, thinking outside the bubble for this kind of shit. The stuff you do literally does not constitute as a fucking prank just because you say it is. If that were the case where you could just say anything is something because you say it is, well then shit. There's a lot of stuff you can get away with.
Yeah.
At that point.
Like, everything's fair game at that point. Literally anything. Like, it's...
Starts a fucking wildfire. Just a prank, bro.
Yo, I guarantee you, there will be a fucking person, like, I don't know when, but I have a very strong feeling. There's gonna be a fucking person who's gonna start a fucking fire in a forest, put it up on TikTok, and just be like, oh yeah, like, let's see, like, what, you know, like fire, like,
just dropped my
and then-
mixtape.
And then literally 2 hours later, the fucking fire has spread to like fucking 20,000 acres. And then they literally, like, after the fire dies down, after like 3 weeks of just like hellscape, the fucking firefighters, because that's the thing with firefighters, they're not just there to put out the fires. They're gonna always try to figure out what the fuck caused it.
There has to be an investigation, yes.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then, like, you know, they're also detectives, basically. Like, firefighters are also just basically detectives. And, like, they're gonna find, like, you know, and they're gonna corroborate, because, like, they're always looking through social media, like, authorities, like, they always are, and they're gonna find this fucking kid, and I guarantee you, like, the kid is probably just gonna have no shame for it, because, you know, oh, clout, and I mean, if I was one of the displaced people because of this dumbass, I really would want blood, like,
I would want to hurt him. Honest to
I
God,
would,
like,
yeah.
if my father can't breathe outside because, like, you just want, like, fucking dumbass little internet points that you can't take with you, let's just see it. Let's see how many inches of clout matters when you're fucking in prison. Let's see how many inches you get.
Or
to
even
that
just
point.
like, how about we just throw him in a fire?
Those kind of public nuisances, man, are just the fucking worst. Like, I'm not encouraging to murder someone, obviously, but, like, gee, I hope you go to prison and I hope you get butt fucked. Honestly, I really do. I
This
really
would be
do.
one of-
These are like some of the lowest people in the fucking world, in my
This is
humble
one of
opinion.
This is one of the few
hate
times.
fucking prank channels, prank YouTubers.
This would
literally
be one of
the
those
worst
few
people. Some of
times
the worst human beings to ever exist in the first world, in my opinion.
where I would straight up apply the Hammurabi's code in this very instance. It's like, want to play with fire? Okay, we're not gonna kill you. Well, we're gonna make it hurt.
And the best ones knew when they were going too far. Look at the the old Filthy Frank squad. Fucking Frank, iDubbbz, Max Mofo, Anything for Views, and How to Basic, who was actually the guy behind the camera for a lot of their shit, which is actually kind of funny. First of all, a lot of that shit was hilarious because it was like Jackass. They weren't hurting anyone but each other. And they were obviously okay with it. They either signed their waivers or they probably didn't fucking have waivers with each other.
No, it was just kind of like a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, gentleman's agreement. And it was just funny watching these idiots do this to each other. Not random bystanders who want nothing to do with your dumbassery or anything like that. And even when it went too far, they made a deal out of it. I remember when, at the end of like the second Twister challenge or the first Twister challenge, I don't remember when, How to Basic just went nuts. And he just started throwing so much shit at them. Like, he started yucking eggs. He started throwing chairs. Like, I don't know what, something snapped. A fucking switch went off in his fucking head at, like, some point during that broadcast. And here's the thing. He threw everything. The lights that, like, studios and YouTubers use. He threw one of those at Anything for Views and iDubbbz. He literally threw it at their heads. And they stopped recording because of it. iDubbbz went up. No, you remember this? iDubbbz went up to him.
I don't remember. No.
Oh, iDubbbz went up to him and like a light switch. The joke was over. Like he got in his face. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. Are you serious? Like you could have actually killed someone with this.
Yeah.
Not to mention he was also talking about we gotta buy a new one of these now. You know how expensive these are and shit. Like they don't show it, but they do stop when they go overboard. Believe it or not. And they're not doing it to anyone but each other. The only time Filthy Frank even did, besides the pink guy shit, was when he was doing like the It's Just a Prank Bro video, which is literally a commentary on prank YouTube channels. That's what that entire fucking video is. He just wanted to see how much of a dick he could possibly be to people and how he could get away with it with saying it's just a prank. And there's a couple people in that video who fucking swung at him.
Yeah,
justifiably so.
There was the one who he like stole a dude's umbrella real quick and he started just bolting down the street and the guy like literally was bolting after him.
Him and his friend. Like they chased him,
and then you just cut
and
to
they
him
were
being
fucking
like,
I mean, and I love Joji, but it was fucking justified. Like if he got his ass beat for that, I'd be like, you deserved it, homie. I'm sorry.
I think he even got asked during maybe one of Ethan's podcasts, or maybe it was like during like the Hot Wings, like those videos like where he eats those really hot buffalo wings and like just answers questions and it's like a bit of like a fun sort of interview. And I think he did say that like he actually did like there was retaliation a lot of times, especially when it came to like his public prank videos and stuff. And mind you, there was even an era where he was doing this on his college campus, where everyone knew him. So you reap what you sow is basically what it is. And like, again, like we always about like levels here. And I draw the line at like actually like harming someone. And I mean, people would even argue like, well, they're like pranksters. They're not actually out to like hurt anybody. But it's just like, but some of y'all do take it too far. And y'all then complain when someone tries to swing at your fucking head. So, like, just saying.
Those fuckers make, like, the impractical jokers weep.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah.
You're talking about
I actually do like those guys. Pranksters. Like, I watched some of their stuff. It actually is kind of funny. There was some that were funny.
Got me through one of the darkest periods of my life.
Did you just like were watching it season through season? Like
I literally had to watch it, otherwise like my anxiety would just peak super hard, and like it was funny as hell. Like I remember like just literally almost pissing myself watching the challenge where like Joe and Murr lost, and so what Sal and Brian, what Sal and Q did to him, they went to a fucking a Premier League like UK football game, and just had the two of them be the goalies, and had all these professional soccer players fucking run up and just wail soccer balls at them. And they were getting fucked up, dude. Like, they dropped at certain points. Like, they were holding on to each other, like, fucking screaming
If
and
you
shit.
ever felt a soccer ball being beamed at you and it made contact with your body, depending on where it hits, it hurts like a motherfucker. I'm not even joking with that. It hurts, man. And these guys are Premier League players too. They're like at the top of their fucking game in England. So like, they're gonna fuck you up, basically.
I don't want to get like copyright striked or anything, but like to end this video, I would want to pull. I guess we could check it out for a bit, like after the fucking podcast is over, because that is the one that got me into Impractical Jokers. I was laughing, like pissing myself laughing at that fucking punishment. It was amazing, and yeah, those are tasteful pranks, because again, there's just four best friends doing it to each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the ones that involve real people are never harmful. It's just like friendly wordplay and shit like that, where like you have to get somebody to say something to you, or
there has to be a line with that shit. Like, no one's saying you can't do it because y'all are gonna do it anyways, but just know, like, there's a line to it, is what I'm saying.
I remember one, because they constantly try to cross the lines with each other, because the way the show works is that if, like, you don't do the thing that they tell you to do, you lose a point, and then you could eventually lose the episode, and that's when you have to get a punishment, and then if you don't do the punishment, they kick you off the show, because they made a pact, like, before they did the show, that if anybody ever refuses a punishment, like, you're gone. And, I remember one, like some of the edgy shit that they do, where they had like Murr talking to this black lady or whatever at like an eyeglasses store or whatever, or like an art store, and they're talking about favorite colors or whatever, and then Joe like does like this pin grenade like with his mouth, because he knew that what he was about to drop was going to be golden. It's just like, I was like, all right, yo guys, watch this. Oh, that's your favorite color? Great. Mine's African American. And then he just walks away. And that's what he made him fucking say to this woman. Like they did some fucked up shit to each other.
Oh no, yeah. But it's again, it's among friends.
Yeah, like I remember when Joe fucking like all three of them lost a challenge except for Joe, and Joe fucking tattooed the three of them. That one was extra fucked up because he gave Sal a fucking tattoo of fucking Jaden Smith on his ankle. And that tattoo took like 3 hours.
Oh god.
Q, he put like 42 lives alone, has 3 cats. Or something.
Just text like on the back of his leg or something.
Yeah, that one was on his arm. He put that one on his arm, I think.
Oh god.
And then Murray, he just like drew a ferret skydiving because they always call him a ferret, thinking a ferret is like his spirit animal. Which if you look at the man, it just makes sense. But yeah, either way, tasteful, professional pranksters. Now if your social media starts with a T, man, it's just toxic. I didn't even get into the Twitch stuff. Like, maybe we'll talk about that like in 2 weeks or something like that. Yeah, I was gonna talk about that today, but I don't even have the energy or the desire. Like, it just felt better going with the flow, talking about fires and shit. But moral of the story: if your social media starts with a T, it sucks. And if you're a fucking YouTuber, TikTok, prankster, or whatever, just stop it.
Yeah, just don't.
Like, I promise you, like, whatever love you're trying to, like, find and, like, the likes that you get from that shit will never fulfill, like, the love that you didn't get from your father. I promise.
Again, fatherless behavior.
Absolute fatherless behavior. That's it for the Double D experience today.
But unlike us who have fathers.
Yeah. Unlike us who have them, you can check us out.
Who didn't go out to get a pack of smokes.
Yeah.
Or the milk.
That's the last thing we need right now. Double D Pod on Twitter, the Double D Experience 21 on Instagram. We're available wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. Like, follow, subscribe wherever you get them. YouTube.com/Nintoonist. Give a like, follow, subscribe. I know I say this a million times, but I actually am legitimately writing a video essay right now. Like, I'm actually working on one. Like, I mean it. You already know what it is. No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Anything like that.
But,
and we're just gonna be holding out here, hoping that this gets better, and it's not gonna be like, like another 2 weeks to stop the spread thing. Not that it's gonna last for like fucking like obviously
a month or something. Yeah,
like COVID length, nothing like that.
But I was planning on going to Niagara next week, and if this is not gonna get any better, chances are I'm not gonna go.
I'm going by what the weather forecast told us, because the weather forecast wasn't always being optimistic. Like, I got a call from my town saying like, yeah, it's gonna be like this for the next 36 hours, and then I go on, and they're not like sugarcoating it or anything like that. They say like, here's where this is going on. It's gonna get worse before it gets better, and this is when it's gonna dissipate. So call me the optimist in me, but like, I don't know. I believe things
We shall see.
better, okay?
We shall see.
But yeah, hopefully it's not like California or whatever where they get those that last like quite some time. But California, it's already way worse. I mean, you've seen those images. Like, it actually literally looks like fucking Diablo.
That one video where like that dude was driving through while the forest was burning. Like, he even said his car got singed. Like, that shit was fucking nuts.
That shit's gonna wind up in history textbooks. As is the one where somebody took a picture of that Diablo ad in Manhattan, like, today, with the fucking, like, sky looking the way that it does.
Oh shit.
That one's gonna wind up in a history
Can you
textbook
imagine
someday.
Blizzard actually set that forest on fire for a fucking ad?
I wouldn't put it past them.
They honestly would.
One of the scummiest companies on the planet, I would not fucking put it past them.
Sets a forest fire for a marketing campaign.
I really, really actually have to take a shit, so we're gonna go. We love you. We'll see you next week, assuming me and Dennis aren't dead. And
Can you put that as a thumbnail? Blizzard starts fire for Diablo 4.
We'll talk about it later. All right. We love you guys. Mwah. Stay safe, okay? Wherever you are.
Yeah, love you. Put a mask on.
Yeah.
If it helps, I don't know.
If it walks outside, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, bye. I really have to take a shit. Hold on.
Yeah, I need to.
You hear me? I'm taking the fucking headset off. Like, actually.
Stop record.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.